So, good morning. I'm Neil from the Association of Pet Bereavement Counsellors, and I am today delighted to be joined by one of our accredited member, Sam Potter. So, good morning, Sam. This is just to be able to tell our members a little bit about you, your interest in pet bereavement counselling, and what you can offer them. So, if you'd like to just tell me a little bit about yourself, perhaps where you live, the area you cover. Just in general that you feel like sharing with us today.
Absolutely. So my name's Sam Potter and I'm a director at Potter Paws Dog Training. Dogs have always been a big part of my life. I didn't grow up with dogs, but my very first dog was Leo. So I've always had an interest in being an active listener within my NHS career.
Yep.
I don't quite know how it happens, but every time I go to a sudden death, I always end up being the person there supporting the family, being the listening ear. And it's just something that's come naturally to me over the years. I just have naturally migrated to that role. And I love counselling. I love helping people. And being able to link that now to dogs and being able to help people through that really difficult time of grief, because I can imagine even losing any of my three at this point. Obviously, we did lose our first dog, Leo, our golden retriever. He had a sudden illness. He was lost. We thought about, could we potentially look at investigating and operate. We chose that decision to go through end of life care and euthanasia, and that was actually over a very short period of time. It was 4 days, because we got the diagnosis on the Friday and we had Leo euthanized at the vets on the Monday. So it's quite a short period of time. The time that I struggled a little bit was when my wife actually put a post of Leo on Facebook, realized she'd done that, absolutely burst out into tears for 20 minutes. That was my sort of grieving period. Very individual, and it's very individually, and that I'm here for, and I would love to be able to help people through that journey, because obviously sometimes things can be very different. You know, if they're looking at other things going on in their life, they've got other stresses, maybe some family stresses going on, their sort of arousal bucket, if you like, how we say for dogs, is already it can be very different, and it's very individual. So this is what I'm here for, to use my experience and to help people.
So you in everything that you've said, you've actually got a complete first-hand experience of the things that your potential clients are going to be coming to you for, that they're actually going through. So you're going to have that empathetic connection with them right from the start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And every journey is different, every grief journey is different, but just being able to sit there and actively listen and just help people work through that, even if it's something just as simple, first of all, looking at their wellness. Are they managing to work through their sleep? Are they managing to eat and give themselves enough nutrition? All these things formulate the basis of helping them being able to work through that grief.
And you talked about migrating to kind of counselling to listening, that it just seemed to come naturally. Was there a kind of natural migration to actually decide that I'm going to, become a pet bereavement counsellor, or was it a snap decision that you kind of think, yes, this is where I want to focus? How did that happen?
Pretty much, yeah. It's something, counselling has always been something that's been of a great interest to me. I've done a lot of research over different counselling techniques, and obviously we've been building our business over a period of time. And I think I was actually on holiday just, and Dawn's course actually popped up as a pet bereavement counsellor. It's something I hadn't thought of before, but it actually linked quite a few things in my brain, and thought actually that would be fantastic, because we've always imagined as a business we would like to help people right from the start, right to the end of their time with their beloved pets. And let's face it, we don't get very much time with them at all, really, when you look at the grand scheme of things. So it all just fitted in perfectly for me, really, to be able to do that, start the journey and the end of the journey, to be able to help people that all the way through.
Fantastic. And I'll ask now, is with everything to do with pet bereavement, there are various parts that we can perhaps specialise in, which catch our interest. Is there any particular part of pet bereavement that particularly sort of like fires you up, that you've got a particular interest in, perhaps done more research on, or perhaps look to support particular types of client, or clients that are suffering as certain stages of their pet bereavement journey, perhaps pre-euthanasia or during euthanasia, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've worked with all types of loss, ambiguous loss, disenfranchised grief. Um, for me personally, because I asked the question in our monthly catch up last month, there was actually another pet bereavement counsellor that had an autistic client, and they were questioning as part of their grief journey whether they'd undervalued their dog and their dog actually being autistic themselves. And this is something that a lot of research is going into. And I do actually believe that my middle dog is actually autistic. There's no scientific background to be able to prove that at the moment, but it's a group of people that I would like to be able to help, because yes, everybody has a very strong connection with their dogs, but sometimes for autistic people, neurodivergent people, it can be such a stronger connection, and there's so much more reliance on that connection. It can be things as simple as just, the dog helps them get up in the morning, gets them get out of the house. And this is obviously very apparent for any support or a rescue dog, any dog that's maybe helping a blind person or a deaf person or anything like that. But especially autistic neurodivergent people really can benefit from that bond that they have with dogs. So obviously when we're looking at grief, losing that dog for whatever reason, it can be very intense. The feelings can be very intense and hard to process for autistic or neurodivergent people. So this is a group that I do like to work quite closely with. Yeah, that's my answer to that question, really.
So really, I think what we're saying is, grief is hard enough to navigate as it is, but actually, with the skills that you've got and the experience you've got, actually, you're able to help that group of people actually sort of navigate around their emotion and perhaps what they're experiencing, perhaps a bit more detail and yes, so that, because you're understanding it from your own point of view as well, and so that you can bring them that sort of extra, if you like, a level of understanding and perhaps why they're experiencing things they are, or how difficult it is for them, etc., etc. So yeah, that's yeah, bringing that to that specialist group.
Absolutely. Something else I would like to look at, and I think we're all working towards it as pet bereavement counsellors as well, is linking in with vets more and making it not an end of life diagnosis and then we start looking for a pet bereavement counsellor, making it more of a hospice care service. So when we do get that diagnosis, that takes a lot of thought process, and we start to think along the lines of, do we treat this diagnosis by what the vets are recommending, or do we look at end of life care? I believe as pet bereavement counsellors, we should be getting on board at that particular time and helping people through working through their diagnosis, and helping them process that. It can be hard for anybody, not just neurodivergent people.
So it's bringing this support to before the event rather than after, so that they're completely supported right the way through the process, and they've got one sort of like place to go to that they can trust, and somebody that understands them.
Absolutely, and it's obviously a process that we're all trying to work towards, but I believe that will be a better care package for people that are going down that pathway, potentially going down the grief or loss pathway.
Yeah, fabulous. And what this work is demanding, we know it's demanding, it takes its toll on us. What do you do to relax? What do you do to look after yourself so that you're staying at the top of your game and able to offer the most to your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Thank you. You probably won't be too surprised to learn that it still involves a dog. My middle
Oh,
dog, he is
no.
he's a working dog. He's a working line. We have a big range of classes here that we offer, and we spend a lot of time teaching everybody else's dogs and don't really get a lot of time to ourselves. So we all make a conscious effort to take our dogs to classes, and I really dive deep into that because it increases the bond. And here at the end of the day, we're here to have fun with our dogs, and spend that time that we can have with them. As I mentioned earlier, we have a very limited amount of time. I love taking my dog to weekly classes. We have a lovely time. I can be in a class full of people and actually forget that I'm in a class full of people because we're
Yeah,
so engaged in the activities we're doing. Go for a nice long walk, all those sort of things. I find meditation is good as well. So I think as counsellors, we should be obviously looking and processing our own thoughts, see what's going
yeah,
on in the background, see what's on that back burner. So we're absolutely as well grounded, and our sort of nervous system is as regulated as it can be before we start seeing clients, and then we're on a very good baseline ourselves to
yeah,
make sure that we've processed all our thoughts and feelings first. So that's, I believe, is very important as well.
yeah.
So yeah, just trying to do sort of chill activities really. I do adult drawing as well. I find that's very good for rewiring and linking things in the brain. It's all things that we recommend to our clients, but we're not really great at doing them ourselves. So we should be looking at
No.
doing those, and regulating ourselves as much as we can be.
And that's part of being able to the integrity of the work that we do. It's like we're not just saying to people do this and this. We're actually doing it ourselves, so we actually know the value and what it brings us and how it helps us to stay grounded in the here and now.
Absolutely. And seeing my dogs progress in what they do as well, because our third dog, he's a little bit challenging in his behaviors. He's still quite young, but just seeing how he progresses and gets more confident as well, it's just lovely to see. And just we should be spending as much time with them as possible. And
Yeah,
when we do come to that grief journey, and obviously it is inevitable. Personally, I think the more things we've shared with our dogs, the more fun we've had, the more we can memorialize and bring that memory forwards and carry on that memory in our hearts with them as well.
yeah,
We've shared those fun times. We have lots of things to remember. Makes it, I wouldn't say it makes it easier, but I think it takes it down a more positive pathway when you are trying to process that navigational journey of grief. It's difficult, and I think if you've got all those fun memories, you can make things, you can make photo albums, you can become creative, and it all helps with the processing those difficult thoughts and feelings at the time of grief.
yeah. So it's a bit like investing in our best life with them.
Yeah,
It doesn't make the grief any less, but if you like, I think it just gives us more memories and more thoughts, and that sort of like more perhaps potential to memorialize and to create something meaningful.
yeah, definitely. And I think it's just spending time with our dogs as well. So many people think that they have to do, such wonderful things with them, but it's just spending time. Dogs just want to have time with us. And I think the more time we spend with them, and again, when we get to those times of grief, we start questioning what we've done. Have we done things the best that we can do? And really, if we're just spending time with them, we can always satisfy ourselves that we've done the best
Yeah,
for them. You
yeah.
might not
It's
think
not.
that at that particular time, but when you start processing the thoughts and feelings, all these happy memories will start to flood back
It's yeah.
eventually.
It's not always the grand gestures, is it? It's the minutiae of daily life and how it all weaves together as a unit.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Like at the
yeah,
moment, my eldest dog's going through a little bit of a journey of arthritis. He's been diagnosed with multiple areas of arthritis, so that was quite hard to sort of process to start with. But we as a family got very sort of into it. We started looking at vets, physio, all those sort of things, and now we've got him on quite an even keel, and it's great, because again, we were thinking along those lines initially of what we're going to do for his bucket list, how long are we going to have him? But now we've got that treatment pathway just right, and he's effectively running around like a puppy now. We're trying to slow him down.
So it's staying flexible, isn't it? It's staying flexible and sort of taking things, bit by bit, and time, and seeing what time brings, and what can be done.
Absolutely.
So we're starting to run out of time, would you believe, already?
Really?
Yeah, we are. It's been fabulous to speak to you, Sam, and for you to share what you do, your passions, and with the kind of journey that you've had with the animals that has brought you to the point of being a pet bereavement counsellor. So I'd like to say thank you very much for joining us, and thank everybody for watching. Now, if you'd like to get in touch with Sam, please look up the accredited members page on the association website, www.apccounsellors.co.uk, and you'll find Sam's profile there, and there's a link and you'll be able to click on that and bring up his website and read about everything that Sam does, and also get in touch with him. So again, I'd like to thank you very much, Sam, for joining me this morning, and I say thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Niall.
Thanks. Bye-bye, Sam.